That boy has been limping all week. Coach finally called his biker brother. It started with a limp. Not the kind you get after twisting an ankle during a fast break or landing awkwardly after a rebound. No, this was different. Hesitant. Painful. Every step Leo took during basketball practice that Monday seemed to cost him something. Coach Miller noticed immediately. He always did. The man had eyes like a hawk and a heart too big for his own good. By Wednesday, Leo's limp had deepened. He winced when he pivoted, flinched when someone clapped him on the back. Still, he showed up, quiet, focused, trying so hard to disappear into the rhythm of drills and dribbles. But Coach saw what others missed. The way Leo's knuckles whitened when he gripped the ball, the dark smudge beneath his left eye he'd tried to hide with a hoodie pulled low. Then came Friday. During a defensive slide drill, Leo gasped, a sharp, broken sound as his knee buckled. He caught himself before hitting the floor, but the pain in his eyes was unmistakable. Coach blew his whistle. Practice stopped. "Leo," he said gently, crouching beside the boy, "look at me." Reluctantly, Leo lifted his head. That's when Coach saw it, a fresh bruise blooming along his jawline, yellow at the edges, purple at the center. And in Leo's eyes, not just pain, but fear, raw, trembling fear. "Did someone hurt you?" Coach asked softly. Leo shook his head quickly, too quickly. I fell," he mumbled. Coach didn't believe him. But what chilled him more was what happened next. When he suggested calling his parents, Leo's breath hitched. "Don't call Dad," he whispered, voice cracking. "Please, don't call him." There was no dad listed on Leo's emergency contact form. Just Frank Mallory, his mom's boyfriend, listed as legal guardian since she'd passed 2 years ago. Coach knew the name, knew the reputation. Local rumors painted Mallory as volatile, unemployed, with a string of bar fights and noise complaints trailing behind him. School protocol demanded a report to Child Protective Services, but Coach had seen how those cases dragged on, weeks, sometimes months, while kids like Leo suffered in silence. He couldn't wait, not this time. His eyes fell on the second emergency contact, Marcus Bear Thorne, older brother. Coach hesitated only a second before dialing. The voice on the other end was gravel wrapped in steel. "Yeah?" "Mr. Thorne, this is Coach Miller from Westridge High. I'm calling about your brother, Leo." A beat of silence. Then sharper, "What's wrong with him?" Coach told him everything. The limp, the bruises, the fear in Leo's voice when his guardian was mentioned. He expected anger. What he got was something colder, quieter. "I'm on my way." 20 minutes later, 6 motorcycles roared into the school parking lot like thunder rolling in on 2 wheels. At their center rode Marcus Bear Thorne, a mountain of a man in a leather vest stitched with the Iron Grizzlies patch, beard thick, eyes burning with restrained fury. His crew dismounted without a word, forming a silent wall behind him as he strode toward the gym. Coach met him at the door. No pleasantries, just truth. "He's scared to go home," Coach said. Bear's jaw tightened. "Then he won't." They drove to the house together. Coach in his sedan, Bear and 2 of his brothers on bikes flanking them like guardians of old. The house was small, paint peeling, lawn overgrown. Frank Mallory answered the door shirtless, beer in hand, sneer already forming. "Who the hell?" he started. Bear didn't speak. He just stepped forward, filling the doorway, his shadow swallowing Mallory whole. The man's bravado crumpled like wet paper. "Where's Leo?" Bear asked, voice low enough to shake the porch boards. Mallory stammered, "Ain't here." But then a bedroom door cracked open. Leo stood there, gym bag slung over his shoulder, eyes wide with terror and hope. "Leo," Bear said, softer now, "come here." Leo moved like a ghost, drifting toward his brother. Mallory lunged, grabbing his arm. "You ain't going nowhere." Bear moved faster than anyone thought possible for a man his size. One twist, one sharp crack, and Mallory screamed, clutching his wrist, collapsing to his knees. "Touch him again," Bear growled, "and you'll lose more than a bone." Leo ran into his brother's arms and sobbed, great heaving cries that had been locked inside him for far too long. Bear held him tight, murmuring, "You're safe now, little bear. You're coming home." And he did. In the weeks that followed, Leo moved into Bear's garage-turned-apartment above the auto shop. Legal action was swift. Neighbors came forward with stories, doctors documented injuries, and Mallory was arrested on multiple charges. Leo began to heal. Not just his body, his spirit. And the Iron Grizzlies, they became fixtures at West Ridge High. At first, parents whispered, teachers tensed, but then they saw how Bear sat in the bleachers during games, arms crossed, eyes never leaving his brother. How the bikers bought season tickets, donated new uniforms, and quietly funded a scholarship in Leo's name. They weren't just tough guys on bikes, they were family. And family protects its own. Years later, under a sky streaked gold with sunset, Leo stood on stage in cap and gown, diploma in hand. Valedictorian, star point guard, accepted to college on a full ride. In the front row, Bear wiped his eyes with the back of his gloved hand. Beside him, Coach Miller smiled, pride swelling in his chest. That night, at a backyard barbecue lit by string lights and laughter, Bear raised a bottle of root beer. Leo still wouldn't drink anything stronger. Old habits of control died hard. To the quiet ones, Bear said, the ones who notice the limp, who ask the hard questions, who make the call when no one else will. Coach raised his glass. Leo grinned, arms slung around his brother's shoulders. Because sometimes heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear leather vests, and sometimes they wear whistles. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more stories of courage, kindness, and second chances to light. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? Thanks for watching.